Perfect. All right. It looks like we are good to go. Hey there, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's Terry Slater. Tonight I wanted to talk to you. Oh, I don't even have my microphone on. See, that's how rushed I was. I wanted to talk to you about how to get started paying off debt. So my story was that we had accumulated about $200,000 in debt and paid it off over the course of 6 years, which is like not terribly impressive in my opinion. It went a little slow, but that's because there was a lot of ebbs and flows along the way. And so, but I still have a lot of people ask me when I say we paid off $200,000 in debt, how did you do that? And so it's really, the process is simple, and it's the same whether you have a small pile of debt or a really huge pile of debt. So I'm just going to show you the basics of just how to get started. And step one really is just awareness. So you have to know how much we're talking about and how much money you're paying out just in minimum monthly payments, and then also how much money do you have extra to throw towards the debt. And that can come in a variety of ways, so we'll talk about that too. You know, you can sell stuff or take on a side gig or whatever, but in the description below the video, I have a link where you can go and grab, I'm going to pull it up here so that you can see this. You can go and grab a copy of just this really basic like debt list worksheet. So again, the link is in the description below the video. You can grab this and just fill it out. And this is essentially just what I'm going to talk about tonight. So it's not going to be really super detailed tonight. I just want to get into the basics. So once you have your worksheet, you're just going to basically go look up all of your debts. So I need you to grab like whatever kind of statements you have, if you need to go online to do that. Maybe you don't have everything at your disposal and don't know all these numbers. I want you to go pull a credit report. If you haven't done that in a long time, it's good to look at those anyway, just so that you can see, you know, make sure that everything on there looks legitimate, right? So that's a good thing as far as just sort of like knowing if there's any identity theft or anything like that. Anyway, go pull a copy of your credit report. I have no affiliation. I don't get reimbursed or anything, but I do recommend Credit Karma because it's just so simple. So I'll actually add that link in the description too. So it's creditkarma.com. And then what we're going to do from there is you're just going to start filling it out. So I want you to just go through first, and this is just a little template that I threw together really fast. So I'm just going to kind of walk through this with you, the same as the worksheet. So I basically just kind of like pre-filled this out here with just like a list of debts. And so obviously you're going to write in your own, but if you've got, you know, store credit cards, you know, vehicles, and a lease is also debt. So I want you to include that. For some reason, some people think that like a car lease isn't debt. It's like you're just renting the car, like renting an apartment, like that's not the same as debt, but I consider a car lease to be debt. So I want you to throw that in because it's a monthly payment, and what it comes down to is we're tracking monthly payments. How much of your paycheck is going out the door in payments? Okay, so if it's a car lease versus a loan, I don't care, write it down. So I've got in here, this is just kind of like a typical household. This is a lot of what I see. So store credit card, vehicles, student loans. And student loans are kind of interesting because if you have them, you probably know they get broken out into a whole bunch of like per semester individual loans. So you may have, let's say for, you know, 4 years of schooling, you might have 8 loans that are 8 individual loans. You can just pile them all together, or you can separate them out. For the most part, I kept mine kind of piled together, but then eventually when I was closer to paying them off, I was looking at the individual loans, so I broke them out. Again, your credit report's really good for finding that information too. So anyway, list out your student loans. If you've got like family debt, you know, medical debt, that kind of stuff, credit cards, throw it in here, recreational vehicles, sports stuff, you know, whatever. If it's got a payment attached to it every month, I want you to write it down. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do is you're gonna write down the minimum payments. So again, I kind of went through and did all this work already. So I want you to just write down the minimum monthly payment. If you have, let's say, I don't know, we'll just pick one, Care Credit. let's say that that one's like $50 a month, but you're actually paying like $75 a month on it because, and I'm not talking about like a 0% interest rate. Let's just assume that you're paying extra on it. I want you to just write down the minimum monthly payment on it. And there's a reason for that. It's because like in the debt snowball, you're going to want to pay just the minimums on everything and then throw all your extra money at the one that you're tackling. So write down your minimum monthly payments on all of these here. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Okay. So once you have your minimum monthly payment thrown in, oops, why did that happen? Thrown into everything here. The next thing I want you to do is write down what is the balance. So the balance outstanding on all of your debts, I want you to go through and then fill that in next. Okay, so here already we've got this total line down here. You can see the total debt. These are just totally random numbers that I threw in, but this is $240,899. So this is going to give you like a good awareness, a full snapshot of what is your total debt. And then the first column there, or second, middle column anyway, is going to be the total of the monthly payments that you've got going out. So if you have done your budget, your spending plan, you're going to have $2,163 thrown in there for how much money is going out every single month, okay? And then I want you to also fill in, and I kind of put this in italics because, you know, this is not the most important thing, but I want you to also fill in the interest rate. So I say it's not the most important thing, obviously it is, but this is only going to be one factor in deciding which debt you're going to pay off first. So let me jump back for a second and talk about these deferred that I threw in here. So I know a lot of folks have their student loans deferred right now because of the COVID pandemic. Make sure that you're really clear about how long those are deferred. And really, if you're not sure, you know, I want you to basically like assume that it's not going to be much longer. You know, you can of course, call the company to find out when those payments are going to resume, because you need to be able to plan ahead for that too. But if they are deferred, you can just put down deferred and then go back in later and fill out your minimum monthly payments. Or maybe they're deferred, but you have enough money to pay on them anyway. You can put in the monthly payment. Same thing for like a family loan, right? So let's say that we've got like $2,000 here that's owed to someone in your family, just was helping you out and gave you a little money. We know that they may or may not expect that money back, but it's weighing on you and you really just want to pay it back. But maybe they're like, don't worry about it, you know, for now. So you can put that as deferred, or again, you can throw in a monthly amount there. Okay. So once you've done all this and you've got your interest rates here, basically the most important thing that I want you to think about is this number right here, which is your total monthly payments, your minimum monthly payments going out. I'm actually going to just take these. We're just going to ignore the stuff that's deferred right now. And we're just going to act like this is your list. Nothing's deferred. These are your monthly payments going out. I know I didn't change the math on it, but that's okay. So if your minimum monthly payments going out is $2,163, how much extra did you find in your budget to throw at this debt? So if you're feeling like, yeah, Terry, there's nothing extra, I can't throw anything at any debt because I'm barely making payments anyway, then we've got a different crisis, right? So there's either like an income crisis or a spending crisis. Like that is something that you have to just kind of stop and look at, because you can't get rid of your debt if you're, you know, still overspending based on your income, or if you're having an income crisis, maybe if someone lost their job and you're down to one income, or your income is reduced or what have you, you're not going to make a whole lot of significant progress on the debt. However, there are a lot of things that you can do when you can start looking at, how do I start to get rid of stuff? Can I like sell some stuff? And that is a difficult conversation a lot of times, especially when we're talking about like cars, right? You know, a boat, things like that. So if you have stuff that is, you know, costing you a whole bunch of money and you're starting to question whether or not you want to keep working this hard to keep up with the payments, then maybe you can look at, can I actually sell that car and get something for a few $1,000s that's going to get me by until I sort of like break out of this little mold here. Okay. So look at, can you, sell off some stuff? If you have to like just trade in the car for a lower one, a lower price car, whatever, you have to get creative to work to solve those problems. But you have to be able to find some margin, some extra money that you can throw at this total. So if your monthly payments are $2,163 and you can find $2,500, so like an extra $350-ish to throw at that, then great. Now you just need to pick which one are you going to tackle and just throw all the extra money you can possibly find. If you get money for your birthday or a holiday, or someone sends you a refund check in the mail you weren't expecting, I want you to take every scrap of money and start throwing it towards your debt. When it comes to the debt, I'm going to talk about the debt snowball for a second. So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit, and I'm not going to get into like a full-blown like lesson on the debt snowball, but basically what it means is you keep paying your minimum monthly payments only on everything, and you throw all your extra money towards one debt. And so the one debt that I want you to pick is totally your call. People will ask, should I pay off the highest interest first? Should I pay off the lowest balance first? I'm going to say there's mathematical equations that you can look at which would make more sense. But let's be honest, if we're sitting on $240,000 worth of debt anyway, math may or may not be the issue right now. It might just be that we've got to like stop using debt anyway, like period. And so I want you to have like a shift in your thinking well, I know I should pay off the highest interest first. Why are you telling me to pay off the lowest balance first? What, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what I think, and then you can make the decision. I think I want you to weigh out 3 different things. Number one, the highest interest, yes, it's costing you the most money over the long term, but I also want you to look at it. So on this spreadsheet here, my highest interest is 26.99%. The balance on that particular credit card is $27,660. If you're only throwing an extra $350 a month at that, it's going to take you a long time to pay that off. And so sometimes you don't really feel like you've got a bunch of quick wins, right? So the next one is you pay off the lowest balance first. That's the next option that you can weigh out. So here I've got Care Credit, right? That's a $50 a month payment, 22% interest. That's pretty high. But if I have an extra $350 a month that I can throw at it, boom, that one's going to be done. I'm going to be able to like knock that one right off the list, put that card somewhere where I'm never going to see it again, and then move on to the next debt, right? So that's how you do it when you're doing lowest balance first, is you're just starting to like gain momentum and gain some traction, and you feel successful when you start to pay things off quickly. Okay, so let me just make sure that I've got, okay, everything is looking good over here still. Okay, so the third option that I want you to weigh out, and there's a bunch of different theories around like which debt you should pay off first. Feel free to do whatever works for you. The next one I want you to think about is which one is weighing on you the heaviest. Okay, so imagine that we left that family loan in here, and maybe it's a debt to, I don't know, like, who cares? It's a family member that you don't really feel like owing them money, right? Or you feel bad that you had to borrow, or, they're nagging you about it, like whatever the case may be. Let's just say that one, which is $2,000, it's kind of in the middle. It's not the lowest balance. It's definitely not the highest interest, because it's probably 0% interest. But it's weighing on you, right? It's something that emotionally you just feel like, I wish I didn't have to ask for money, so I really want to make sure to pay that one off first. Then throw it at that one, right? So that one doesn't fit either equation. It's not your lowest interest or highest interest. It's not your lowest balance, but it's what you feel called to do because you just want to make sure, if nothing else, that that person gets paid. Okay, so it's all totally your decision. I don't care what you do. I mean, yes, you can look at calculations and spreadsheets and do the math and figure out what makes the most financial sense, But again, a lot of this is like emotions, behaviors, what things feel like to us, right? And so I want you to make your own decision when it comes to how to pay it off. But again, what I want to show you here, I'm going to just actually like insert a column. There we go. I'm going to insert a column here and show you what it looks like to do the debt snowball. Excuse me. Goodness. Okay. And I didn't move that right at all. That's okay. So I'll take this and move it over here. So if we decided that we wanted to pay care credit first, we're going to pay the minimum monthly payments on all of these. Okay. Sorry, I don't know why, like my keyboard's not working, nothing. Okay, we're gonna pay just the minimum monthly payments on these. Oh, now it goes. Okay, we're gonna keep these three at 0. We're gonna pay $350 on care credit and then it's done, right? So $277, $178, $350, $75, and $215. That's the amount of the monthly payments that we're gonna pay. So let's just call it $24.63, right? Okay, now care credit is done. Okay, that one is knocked out. We don't have to worry about that one anymore. So now for the next month, we're gonna make that decision again. Which one are we gonna pay off next? If we wanna stick with this like low balance, that felt good, let's knock things out, then chances are this Discover card might be next, right? So now I was paying $50 on care credit. Okay, let me back up. If I said I had an extra $350, that would have been a $400 payment, but the balance is only $331. So here's how a debt snowball would work. Let's say I had $400 to allocate, but that one is only $331. That means I'm going to pay $331, and then I'm also going to pay like another $70 extra on something else, which means Discover might get like $140 in that first month, right? Okay, and then the next month, I'm gonna take that extra $350 plus the $50 that I'm no longer paying on care credit as that minimum payment. So that's $400 extra. I'm gonna now pay the next month $400 extra to like my Discover card. So let's just call that $475. This is a super uncomplicated spreadsheet, so it's not kind of like showing you how all this works. But basically, you keep paying these minimums on everything, and then as you pay each one off, you don't suddenly like pocket that extra money because you don't have a minimum payment on that one debt anymore. You just roll it all towards the next one. It's just like a snowball. If you roll it downhill, it gains more momentum, it gets bigger. And so these things start getting knocked out a whole lot faster. So that's kind of a really archaic way to sort of describe what the debt snowball is. But anyway, for tonight, I mostly just want you to like get started, document the debt, right? Again, the link is below this video. Pull it up, write down all of your debts, get your minimum payments on paper, you know, figure out which one do you want to start tackling first. And if you want to chat with me more and figure out, hey, how do I even find extra money to start putting towards the debt? I've got all the links below this video on how to contact me as well. So with that, let me just actually jump back over here, and I want to see if I can like try to pop into my comments and see if I have any questions going. It doesn't look like there's any questions that came in. So awesome. I won't keep you any longer tonight. Thanks so much for joining me, and feel free to comment below. Be happy to type in any responses for you guys as well. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to get these videos notified to your inbox every single week. All right, take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.